Hi everybody, Neon here and another review ready. Now, I want to make a disclaimer first. This is a crossover, but the other world it's crossed over with, I am not too familiar with. So you could say I went into this kind of blind. So if I miss any key points from that other world, it's only because I'm not aware of it. So with that said, let's move on to the story. This story is called A Legion of One by General Liberator. This story is, as I've mentioned, a crossover story with My Little Pony and a game series called Mass Effect. This is not the first time the fans have actually done something with this, but it is the first time that it's been taken in a completely different direction. Fallout Equestria, for example, follows a huge adventure plot with the main character as they explore the wastelands. This one, though, follows a more slice-of-life approach. The overall story is pretty much this. One of the characters of Mass Effect, aptly named Geth, ends up going to Equestria, where he ends up meeting a very young Twilight Sparkle. As for a plot with a story like this one is rather kind-hearted. There's nothing crazy going on, no big catastrophe, no big danger. It's just Geth and Twilight interacting with each other, with Geth learning about Equestria and how it works, while Twilight learning about the Geth and how it works. I think this stands out as its very own because of the slice of life fact. We look at Fallout, Bioshock, heck, Mass Effect even, and we cross over with other stuff, and we usually expect this huge adventure plot going on. After all, the other games usually involve the same thing. But when we see this, it's pretty much something fresh and new. Well, I've never seen something like this anyway. Of course, as crossovers go, you usually have to know both stories in order to understand what's going on. Here, though, it provides just enough information for newcomers to, well, either series really, but not too much to the point where it's all spoilers. For example, the Geth explains to Twilight about what happened to him and his species on his home planet, but it doesn't explain anything else from Mass Effect. This way, when people get into the game, they would know one detail, but not all of it. It uses canon, but not more than it has to. Same even goes with the My Little Pony aspect of the story. Twilight here is a small filly. In fact, she doesn't even have a cutie mark yet, so that means none of her adventures have actually happened yet. And therefore, that side is spoiler-free as well. Speaking of which, I am glad that they made it clear that she is only 5 years old here. That's mainly because, if not, then other people will probably complain about her being so naive. But, then again, who wouldn't be curious over a giant alien? Of course, they both have their own brand of curiosity. Twilight being the naive child discovering a new alien friend, while the Geth being completely new to life in general on the planet Equestria, or Equus as they call it. Of course, not every story is pure gold, and there are issues that kind of bug me a little bit. First of all, there's Twilight's family, her mother, father, and brother Shining Armor. These three, I think, are pretty much rather generic when it comes to who they're supposed to be, and as such, I couldn't keep myself very invested in them as I was with Twilight and the Geth. It doesn't entirely help that there's an entire plot around them too. While Twilight is busy with the Geth, these three are basically trying to find Twilight, and that's pretty much all I can really get out of it. However, I can't see why it would be placed here. Their child is pretty much missing. Who wouldn't react to that? But here's the thing. It has been done so many times before that it's becoming too predictable. And I found the Geth plot a lot more interesting than this one. No, I am not calling it bad. You can make it interesting and it can be a good read. But here, you can cut it out and it would be overall the same. The only thing that will really change is how many words are in it, and, surprise surprise, Twilight does end up back, and that isn't because they were running around looking for her. So, in the end, that whole subplot was pretty much pointless. I am sorry for saying that, but honestly, if their child is going to come back without their effort, then what's the point on putting it in the first place? Anyway, back to the story. The perspective is, well, it's different. How do I put this? It would show one scene through Twilight's eyes, but then it kind of replays the scene again through the eye of the Geth. confusing, I know, but it shows every perspective, every detail, and every single thought from each character involved. And now for the overall review. This story is kinda mixed, honestly. One part of the story is very good and very, very creative, while the other part, though, is rather bland and way too predictable. So, all in all, this is a pretty good story. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it is good nonetheless. You might like one subplot over the other, depending on what you like. And the story isn't exactly very long, considering it only has about like 5 or so chapters in it. But I still recommend this, and if you want to read it, then go right on ahead. So yeah, there you go. I'll see you all later. Neon out.